There's a ghost in the machine of the whole AI revolution. A really strange puzzle that's playing out in boardrooms all over the world. You see, companies are pouring billions of dollars into AI, but for almost all of them, the results are, well, they're basically nowhere to be seen. So what's really going on? Let's dig in. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the money. The buy-in for AI, it's pretty much universal. Get this, a staggering 99% of companies are actively pouring cash into scaling up their AI capabilities. I mean, the ambition's there, the money's flowing, everyone wants a piece of the action, right? But here's where it gets weird. The paradox. Out of all those companies, a tiny, and I mean tiny, 1% say they've actually reached what you'd call AI maturity. So what does that even mean? Well, it means the tech isn't just some shiny new toy they're playing with. Nope, it's fully baked into their business and it's actually driving real results. That massive gap, that's the problem we're here to talk about.
So that leads us to the big question, doesn't it? What in the world does that 1% know that everyone else doesn't? What's their secret sauce? And more importantly, what are the mistakes that might be holding you back right now? All right, let's dive in and break down their playbook.
Okay, first big mistake. This one's a huge one, and it's really about a fundamental error in how companies are thinking about this. They call it the IT trap. And well, it's pretty much where most AI dreams go to die before they even get off the ground. So here's the trap. The 99%, they treat AI like it's just another piece of software. Something you just hand off to the IT department to install and manage. But the 1%, they get it. They understand that AI isn't a tech project. It's a full-on business transformation. And that means it has to be led from the very, very top. We're talking C-suite level. If it's not, it's pretty much doomed.
And this quote right here just nails it. The real value comes from rewiring how companies run. See, the winners aren't just bolting AI onto their old processes. Not at all. They're using it to completely rewire the whole operation. That's a massive strategic shift. And believe me, it has absolutely nothing to do with calling the IT help desk.
All right, so let's say you've managed to avoid the IT trap. Great, but you're not out of the woods yet. You're going to immediately run into the second big hurdle, the measurement gap. This is all about how companies are completely failing to see and, because of that, failing to justify the real value of what they're spending on AI. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. We're applying industrial era metrics to a cognitive era transformation. Think about that. It's like, I don't know, trying to measure the speed of light with a ruler. It just doesn't work. When you demand a simple ROI in 6 months for something this huge, you're not just being unrealistic. You're completely missing the point.
So how do the top dogs measure value then? Simple. They change the questions they're asking. Take a look here at efficiency. The old way of thinking is just, what's our ROI in 6 months? The new way is to ask about return on efficiency. In other words, how much precious time are we giving back to our most valuable people? Or look at workforce capability. It's not about cutting jobs, no way. It's about skill amplification, basically turning your team into superhumans by letting AI take care of all the boring grunt work. It's a total 180-degree shift in perspective.
Okay, so we've spent some time on what's going wrong. We've diagnosed the big problems. Now, let's flip the script. What are those top performers, that 1% actually doing right? It's time to open up their playbook.
And it all starts with their vision. See, the 99%, they take what you'd call a piecemeal approach. They're just chasing one little use case at a time. But the 1%, they start with a massive transformational vision. They're thinking about how to redesign an entire part of the business from start to finish. And that big picture thinking, it shapes every single decision they make after that, from how they structure their data to how they handle security.
And that vision completely dictates how they structure their teams. Just look at this. They centralize the stuff you absolutely positively cannot mess up. Things like risk and data governance, that's all about safety and control. But for the things that need to move fast, like hiring the right talent and getting people to actually use the tools, they go with a hybrid model. They push the execution out to the teams that are actually doing the work. The idea is so simple, but so powerful. Centralized for control, but decentralized for speed. Now this whole playbook, it's not just about winning today. Oh no. What it's really doing is getting these companies ready for the next massive leap in AI, a future that's going to be completely dominated by this new idea called agentic AI. So you might be asking, what exactly is an AI agent? And this is super important. It is not just a chatbot. A chatbot can talk to you. An agent can do things for you. It uses a large language model to figure out what you want, sure. But then it actually creates a plan and uses other tools like APIs, the internet, you name it, to execute that plan all by itself. Think of it like an autonomous worker for your computer.
And we're going to see these agents roll out in a few phases. In phase 1, you, the human, are still in charge of the whole process, but you're using individual agents to handle specific tasks. Then comes phase 2. Now you've got groups of agents handling the whole workflow, and your job shifts to just overseeing them. And finally, phase 3. This is where we get agentic swarms, which are fully autonomous. The human's job at that point, you're not even watching the tasks anymore. You're just overseeing the entire system. Your role literally evolves from being a doer to a manager to a director.
Which brings us to the final and honestly probably the most important piece of this entire puzzle, because it's not about the tech and it's not about the org chart. It's about leadership.
You see, that huge gap between failure and success, it's not a technology gap, it's a people gap. The single biggest mistake the 99% are making is completely ignoring the human side of this equation. The real barrier isn't a lack of money, it's a massive, massive skills deficit.
And just look at this disconnect. It is absolutely staggering. You've got 89% of executives saying, yep, our workforce totally needs better AI skills to survive. But then you look at how many have actually started upskilling their people in any real way, and it's just 6%. 6. That's not just a gap, folks. That is a canyon. And it points to a catastrophic failure in leadership and change management.
And this all leads us to the final, really unavoidable truth here. The research is crystal clear on this. The bottleneck isn't your employees resisting change. The single biggest thing holding companies back is leaders not steering fast enough. The buck really does stop at the top.
So here's the question I want to leave you with. Adopting AI, that's not optional anymore. It's happening. It's inevitable. The real question isn't if your organization is going to be transformed by it. The real question is whether you, as a leader, are going to steer that transformation fast enough with the right vision and the right investment in your people to actually make it through to the other side.